My name is Pamela, and I live in the city of Vadodara, India, where the Vishwamitri River runs through. This is a picture of me a year ago. I look nothing like that now, but at least I'm alive to tell my story and raise awareness about assault on women all over the world. Before this terrible incident took place, before this monster pounced on me, we were engaged to be married. However, I'd noticed a few cracks from day one. For example, I was waiting for him at a restaurant, and when he arrived, unaware that I was already there, I saw him through the window flirting with another woman. Guys do that. It's like having their cake and trying to eat it. It's just in their nature. We first met on a blind date set up by a friend. When we met, he told me that I exceeded his expectations and that I was more beautiful than he thought I'd be. I was flattered by his wonderful words, but also a little bit wary. Not that I doubted myself. Call me weird if you like. But his words were a little too sweet. More like player's gospel. Nevertheless, we had a wonderful evening. He was charming, funny, attractive, and successful with his own dental practice. But there was a big but. I just couldn't put my finger on it. Whether it was his views on women or the way he glanced at every single one that passed by. Later that evening when I got home, he rang me. We spoke for a few hours. He made me laugh a lot. I liked him, but there was something stopping me from wanting him. After a few days, I told him that I wasn't feeling it, and I didn't want him to think that we were on the same page. I honestly didn't want to lead him on or give him any false hope. He was convinced that he could change my mind. He sent flowers to my workplace, we went out on multiple romantic dates, but that still didn't sway me. We continued dating for 2 months, no intimacy, not even a kiss. I didn't see it going any further. We discussed our relationship in his car. We decided to call it a day. He was extremely calm about it. We went our separate ways and I left him standing by his car. I felt bad in myself. 5 minutes down the road, I decided to go back for reasons I don't understand. When I got there, I was surprised to see him smashing up his car with a baseball bat in frustration. Seeing that, I swiftly turned around and went home. Fast forward a few weeks, and I started to miss his jokes, his charm, and just being around him. Since we met, there hadn't been a day that had gone by that we didn't talk on the phone. I felt attached to him in a way. And even my family and friends thought I had made a big mistake. What made it worse was when I saw him with his new girlfriend while out with friends. I won't lie, I felt a bit of jealousy kicking in. He could see that I wasn't impressed and he came over to say hi while she waited in the car. What he said changed my mind. He told me, "The door is still open for you. It's always you. You're the one I want to spend my happily ever after with." I became the topic of his thoughts and dreams. I felt special. And that same weekend we met up and we made love for the first time. No turning back now, I thought. Once I enter into a relationship, I enter with emotions and all. Before no time we got engaged and I moved in with him and his mother. Shortly after, I got pregnant and everything was happening so fast. One night he came home from work and wanted us to make love. My hormones were all over the place and I was experiencing slight abdominal cramps. I was worried and the feelings wasn't there. So I said later, but he wasn't having that. He was trying to force himself on me. And the more resistance I put up, the more aggressive he got. He started to slap me brutally and I started screaming, hoping his mother would come to my rescue. I managed to use my feet to push him off the bed. I had no idea what had gotten into him. I never experienced anything like that before. I ran out of the room partially naked, and when I got out of the room, his mother was standing in the passageway. She heard everything. I fell to my knees crying and I begged for help. I was expecting her to intervene and say something to him. Instead, she just looked at me, turned around, and went back into her room, closing the door. He dragged me back into the room and assaulted me. Afterwards, he fell asleep, and I just lay there, with tears in my eyes, crying all night. I was so disappointed in his mother. We had a good relationship before then. I lost all respect for her after that night. The next day, while at work, I was in constant pain, and my colleagues had to call me an ambulance. They rushed me to A&E, and the doctor told me that I would have to abort my child due to abnormal placenta. I felt like my whole world came crumbling down. They kept me in a hospital after the procedure. He came to see me, and both of our families were present. Even though I was dying inside, I didn't want to make a scene about what happened a couple of nights ago. So I acted normal. On our way back to his house, I told him I was leaving him. He looked at me with an evil, intimidating smirk on his face, stopped the car, got out, walked around to my side, opened the door, and dragged me out. He said, "If I can't have you, nobody else will," and proceeded to throw me into the crocodile-infested Vishwamitri River. I had to grab onto his tie. I could see hungry crocodiles getting excited and coming from all sides, getting ready to welcome me. I screamed to him that I'm sorry, but he was determined to push me into the river. Even when he hit me, I clung on with everything I had. Luckily, some guys passing by came to my rescue, and he let me go. He went to his car and returned with a substance and poured it over my face and body. Afterwards, he said, "Who will want you now?" It was acid. I screamed in agony, and people gathered around pouring bottles of water on my face. Some guys chased him and beat him badly with sticks. They left him disfigured. But it's nothing compared to the pain that I will have to bear for the rest of my life. I was the topic of his dreams. Now he's the topic of my worst nightmare. Stop violence against women and girls. Can you relate? Please subscribe to this channel, like and share this story. It's free to subscribe.